Good morning, everyone. So, quite a lead-in to the day of victory of heaven, right? Last week, James spoke about our attitude in the last days, right? Lots of experiences of last days for many people. The Hurricane Harvey in Texas, so many people flooded out of their homes. In Irma in Florida and Puerto Rico, the earthquakes in Mexico, and the horrific shootings in Las Vegas. And that fire was across the street from our house. Oh, nice. Last Wednesday, after we came back from our evening study with Pastor Thompson, I was already in bed, 11 o'clock, I'm in bed. And then Eleanor yells, "Our neighbor's house is on fire." Oh, my God. And we jump up and run out. Renata calls 911. Fortunately, a bunch of people had already called. And go out there, and it was, the flames that you saw there, that was like a third of what it was when we first went out. Just the whole thing, it was horrific. Fortunately, we could see that the people who were living there had already gotten out. It was almost like a miracle because one of them woke up and got them out of the house just a few minutes before the front door, and everything was totally engulfed in flames. So all of this, honestly speaking, when I was watching this fire, I was just shocked. It was unbelievable, the kind of instant damage that happened. And thinking that they got out with nothing. The clothes that they were wearing, that's all they had. The mom there is a pregnant mom, and she was just in this light. Eleanor gave her a coat, to wear, but it's like, that's all they had. Everything was gone. And so it made me think, well, what about our situation? If something like that had happened at our home, or even thinking about all the people whose houses were flooded out, the hurricanes and things like that, all these horrific things that happened, and it's all gone. All of our material possessions suddenly disappeared. That's like the end of the world for a lot of times. It feels like that, completely starting over. So definitely having that first-hand experience, it really made me think much more deeply, empathetically about the people in Florida and Puerto Rico and Texas and Mexico City, and who are suffering from this kind of catastrophes. And now we've got another one where there's flooding. What's the newest one? Nathan. So there's flooding in Mississippi. But in all of this, there's also lots of hopeful things because of the people's response. One friend, associate I know from work, her family's from Puerto Rico. She grew up here, but she's Puerto Rican. And she thought, maybe I want to do something for her small town where her family's from. So she set up a GoFundMe campaign. We've done that. We did that before for Paxton. And she's thinking, maybe I'll get $1,000 that I can send to support. In 1 week, she got $13,000 donated to support the families in the situation in Puerto Rico. So in the midst of all that, though, last Wednesday was also one of our church holy days, the day of victory of heaven. And it also got me thinking about, Father Moon has this habit of proclaiming victories and successes while the rest of us are kind of standing around going, what? What? And making really powerful proclamations. And so today I want to explore that idea about the proclaiming victory is a way of us building and creating victory. So let me read, this is the quote this was in 1976 that Father Moon gave this speech, when he first declared the day of the victory of heaven. Today, the fourth day of the 10th month, is a day which is meaningful in numbers and also is meaningful for me personally, because on this date in 1955, I was found innocent and released from prison in South Korea. Thus, today, we express our heartfelt gratitude to Almighty God for the two liberations which are represented by October 4th. My own liberation from prison and the liberation of all mankind, represented by the tremendous victory at Washington Monument, won on the foundation of my 3.5-year crusade here in America. Let us thank God for these victories. And I also would like to thank each one of you from this day on, October 4 will be celebrated as a holy day in the history of the Unification Church. The name of the day will be the Day of the Victory of Heaven. So, quite phenomenal. So, Father Moon is declaring and proclaiming this is a day of victory, and he's expressing gratitude, and then he gives us a vision for marching forward. And those are the three things that I really want to focus on. But first, if you think about the victories of heaven that Father Moon's talking about, this day, Victory of Heaven, comes to represent his first escape from prison, which was actually in October 14th in 1950. For almost 3 years, he'd been in basically a death camp in North Korea, where they send people, feed them just a little bit of food, and work them till they die. And moving fertilizer, working with fertilizer with your bare hands. So he suffered under that, and it was because of the Korean War and the invasion of the UN troops that Father was able to escape from the Hungnam prison camp in North Korea. But then, in 1955, Father Moon was taken to prison mostly because of false accusations, largely by Christian churches at that time, and spent months in prison. And then on October 4th, he was proclaimed innocent. Completely innocent of all these charges. Of course, when he'd been accused, it was front page news. Oh, scandal of this church. When he was acquitted and everything innocent, it was on the back page. Rev Moon released, found innocent. And that's how the news and the media is. So people have that impression so much. But in 1976, this is part of the world rallies that Father Moon was doing. And we'd done a rally in Yankee Stadium that maybe you've seen it. People got up and saying, "You are my sunshine," when it was raining and you were thinking, oh, it's going to be a catastrophe, this event. But somehow we were able to pull it out. But still it wasn't a huge success. It was more of an internal victory and success. So Father Moon said, we're going to do another one. And just a few months later, in September, at Washington Monument. And that event was an incredible success. 300,000 people came to hear Father Moon proclaim the important mission of America, the role that we have in this world, and the challenge that we have to face and to address. So it was a powerful victory, a great victory. And then a couple of weeks later, then he gave this speech declaring, this day we're going to call the Day of Victory of Heaven, the Victory of Heaven, on the foundation of the past victories. Imagine the thought, the end of the world. He may die in the Hungnam North Korean prison camp. And that's the end of his mission, right? It could have been the end right there. He could have been killed right there. And then in the South Korea, just the scandal, made it really hard for the church to move forward, him in prison for years. And then in coming to America, 3 years kind of trying to break through the Spirit in America. Could have been make or break it for the world level providence. So all of these. But what Father Moon did, of course, he expressed and declared it a victory. He expressed his gratitude and determination, for everyone, to God and to all the people. But then he set the goal even higher. He said, okay, now the next rally has to be in Moscow. So this is 1976, right? We still have the Vietnam War. There's still the Cold War is pretty hot right there at that time. And Father Moon came up with this expression that was his favorite expression at the time. Must go Moscow. Must go Moscow, right? Actually, it took us 20 years to get there, but we did. In the 1990s, we had rallies, a lot of rallies in the then Soviet Union. He was able to meet with Mikhail Gorbachev, and lots of breakthroughs happened. And even in 2003, Father Moon made a declaration about the Peace United Nations. This was actually, at the time, it was the Interreligious International Federation for World Peace, which has evolved now into what we call the Universal Peace Federation. But he made these bold proclamations about the Peace United Nations in order to bring people of faith together and to bring healing. So, in all this, all along the way, Father Moon, what he does is, it's like a mountain climber who's climbing up a rock cliff. They have these things, they're called pitons. right? I'll call them stakes, but basically you hammer it into the rock, and then you can tie a rope around it and secure it, so safety, and that's how you make your way up the rock. Well, this is what Father Moon does with these proclamations and declarations. I was speaking, a lot of times we're going, what? What are you thinking? But that declaration, that stake in the mountain wall, is the foundation that to hold on to. So if, as you put the rope on there, if you slip, whoa, and you fall, well, fortunately that foundation, that claim, that stake in there holds us and keeps us from falling all the way down again. But also, that's going to be the foundation that eventually we're going to move up and stand on top of to go even higher. So Father's strategy of making these proclamations of victory, when sometimes it seems like, what are you doing? But he proclaims victory with gratitude and then moves forward. Now, the challenge is, how does that apply to us? Father Moon is, his determination, and he had incredible vision and just determination to accomplish stuff. But for us, a lot of times, okay, that's a pretty nice vision, but what does it have for me? And in fact, if we look at history, many of the key providential figures in God's providence, looking through the Bible, we see all kinds of times where they didn't succeed. Actually, the history is pretty sad and pretty discouraging. And even in our own experience, we know there were many opportunities where great chance opportunity, but we missed that opportunity. In this speech, actually, the fourth anniversary of the Day of Victory of Heaven, Father Moon gave this speech talking about the historical figures. He says, almost everyone chosen for the dispensation, that's for the providence to heal the world, failed God. We know that it was because of man's failure on earth that God suffered defeat. The history of the providence has repeated itself and always ended in failure. There is a subject, that's like the initiator, the leader. There is a subject who plans the providence, and an object, that's like the follower or the receiver, who carries it out. The subject is God, and man is his object. We know that unless subject and object, leader and follower, are joined in unison, a victory will not come forth. So why did God create in such a way that subject and object must come into oneness? Why in the world, did God set up man's responsibility? We already know the answer. It is so that people can participate in their own creation and achieve status as creators. If you think about it, if God had just set up the ideal world and that human beings had no responsibility, we'd be living in that ideal world, right? God made it perfect, and it would have just been fine. But it would have been a very boring world. It wouldn't have been a world full of creativity and love. And so this is why God gave us this amazing gift of responsibility, the power to actually participate in creating who we are ourselves through our choices and the choices we make, but also in shaping this world and making a difference in the world. In fact, where we find the greatest fulfillment in life is where we are making a difference, a positive effect in the environment and the world around us. So, how do we do that? How do we create victory? Because if you're like me, I have a long list of lacks of victories. Long list of failures that I could tell you about all day long. I have lots to say about where I failed this. And, I know God was hoping that I would do that, but I just didn't do it. And I couldn't do it. And we can go on and on about our lack of victory. So how do we create victory? And what I want to do is I want to look at Father Moon's strategy and see how that applies to us. Now, maybe I'm just speaking to me because maybe all you guys are just completely victorious and have no problem. But me, I got lots of struggles. Lots of times when I knew I wanted to do that and I just couldn't bring success or victory. So if this doesn't apply to you, then hallelujah. Please keep going and do more. Hopefully, I know it applies to me, so if it's useful to you, that's my prayer. So the first step, I go back to that analogy of climbing a rock mountain, is Father Moon, he stakes a claim. He takes that piton stake, hammers it into the wall, and makes a claim. We know that by claiming success and focusing on victories, then we can gain power that way. So the first point is we need to focus on any victories that we have and have a heart of gratitude around that. So there's 2 points to that. Number one is focusing on what we did right, where we're successful, and thinking about that. And we know from the divine principle, whatever we have give and take with, whatever we're thinking about and interacting with, that generates energy and power. Honestly, the more I think about my failures and what I didn't do in my failures, does that give me a lot of energy and excitement to go forward? No. That multiplies the energy of, you're done. You failed, quit, give up, die, go to bed. Forget it. So if that's what we're having give and take with, that's the energy we're creating. So we need to look for those victories in our life. So the next thing is, well, I don't have any victories. I look at my life, it's just a miserable failure. But that's not true. It's a lie. It's Satan's lie. Now, the very first beginning is that, hey, we were born. We survived our mom's birth canal. And our mom survived us growing up. We even survived our teenage years, which, some of us, that was a question. Maybe our parents were going to kill us. Maybe we were going to kill ourselves. We did all kinds of crazy things, right? But we survived. Hey, victory! Yes. Let's claim those victories, right? Let's claim even the small victories. For you as unificationists, now I'm going to speak both, of course, to all of us, but especially to those unificationists. One victory we have is that we receive the divine principle, that we understand about God's heart. What kind of victory do you think God feels about that? How many people does God have on this planet that know and understand God's suffering heart and appreciate His deep suffering and His incredible love for us? This is a huge victory, that we could receive the divine principle, that we could be active participants in God's providence. Wow! What a victory to celebrate. Now, I know there's more to do, but let's claim the victories that we have. The successes that we have in work, in our family, in our community, in our daily life. There's many, many victories that we can claim. But the second part of that is that we need to claim them with gratitude. So if I claim the victory and I go, oh, I'm so great, I did such a great job, it's all me, how much energy do you think that's going to give me? I might get a short-term high, but how much power am I going to get from that? Not a whole lot. Because the truth is, unless I acknowledge the incredible support that we get from all kinds of sources, are we going to expect that support to come back? How about I had this great success and I go out and I really thank and appreciate all the people that helped me. Think they're likely to help me again? Yeah. But if I go out and I just say, oh yeah, I'm so great, I did it all by myself, all the people that helped me are going to look at me and go, huh? Where were you? What about all of us that were there helping you, right? So we need to acknowledge our victories. So we're going to claim victories, but with the heart of gratitude. Because those victories came because of the foundation of many other people's sacrifices and work. Especially we need to always be grateful to God. Because God is our partner in everything we do. We're partners with God in creating this world and creating the environment. So our gratitude to God is the first starting point. And remember in Father Moon's speech, when he proclaimed, the day of the victory of heaven, first thing, we have to thank God. And then thank the people around us, right? The people that participated. But also, I put to you, we should be grateful to the angels and the spirits and our ancestors and everyone in the spiritual world that was helping us and supporting us. If we acknowledge their support, do you think they're going to be happy to come and support us some more? Absolutely. So the power of a grateful heart, claiming victories, hammering that stake into the mountain as we climb up the mountain, and acknowledging and being grateful for having a grateful heart, This generates incredible power and hope to be able to do things, to move forward. Now, one of the things that, now again, especially for us as Unificationists, we've been tasked with is this thing called tribal messiahship. Home church, tribal messiah. I don't know about you, but, I hear Father Moon say, Mother Moon saying, okay, I need you to be tribal messiahs. I go, what? Me? God, you don't know how many problems I have. You want me to be a messiah? What are you thinking? But the truth is, God knows us, doesn't he? God knows us even better than we do. And God knows our potential. And God believes in us as tribal messiahs. So, how do we accomplish this incredible, downright scary task of being a tribal messiah? It doesn't mean I'm going to go out and fix everybody in the world. And that doesn't mean that suddenly I'm the one that's going to fix everything. What tribal messiah means is that I'm the person that loves and cares for the people in my environment. Now, whether you're a unificationist or not, we all have a tribe of people in our lives. If we actively cultivate the heart of, I love these people, I care for these people, I want these people's lives to be good, I want to make a contribution to their lives, then we're living as tribal messiahs. We're living for the benefit of others, to make a positive difference in their lives. So you could think, Pastor Thompson often says, the starting place for tribal messiahship, the first victory, the first stake that we can hammer into that wall, that mountain that we're climbing, is making a list. Make a list. Write down the names of the people that you care about in your life. Of course, the first place is our family and relatives like that. But look at your neighbors. The neighbors, your co-workers, people you know at school, people that you go to social activities with. Friends, people that you like. If you don't like them, you don't have to put them on your list. You might end up putting them on your list, but, make a list of the people that you care about. With the idea that I want my love not to just stop with, oh, yeah, I like that person. But to go beyond to, I want that person to prosper. Now, honestly speaking, I don't care if you bring them to church. We try to make our church environment a place that you're happy to bring your friends. An environment that you feel, yeah, hey, I want to share this with my friends. And my friends have joy. But more important that they show up to church is that you show up in their life. That you invite them to your home, home church. You go out, have coffee with them. You do things together. You look for ways to contribute to their lives. This is what it means to be a tribal messiah. How can I improve and help them to know God more deeply, to experience God more profoundly, and to have a more fulfilling life? Of course, we want to support them in their marriages, to bless and rededicate their marriages. We want them to know the divine principle, especially as it applies to living a life of fulfillment. But we don't need them to join our church. We need them to grow in their relationship with God. We want to love them. We care for them. These are people that we care about. So this task of tribal messiahship is no longer, oh yeah, I have to go out and meet a bunch of strangers and somehow convert them to my church. No, I have to take care of the people that are already my tribe. And the first step is I claim them. That's my first victory. And I feel grateful for those people. And basically, I'm claiming them. I'm saying, God, please take care of these people. These are my people. I love them. And Satan, hands off. These are my people. I'm praying for these people. I care about these. I'm sacrificing for these people. That's what it means to be a tribal messiah. Make the claim. Take responsibility to care for the people in our lives, our tribe. The second step, second thing that Father Moon does, is he makes conditions for victory. Now, even in the success motivation world, you have to make conditions to bring about victory. And basic conditions are you need to have clear goals, written down goals, what I want to do, but also you have to generate the spirit of intention and determination and paying attention to the people on our list. Intention having a serious intention of goodwill for others. It's like, our New Age thinking. Let's send them lots of good spiritual energy, right? That's what we want to do. Even if we just did a meditation every day and went through our list, and just spent like 5 minutes just thinking good thoughts and love and support for these people on our list, do you think their lives will change? I know my life changes when I do that. When I'm not thinking about, oh me, oh my, I have this problem and working like this and this is problem. That just takes away my energy. But if I invest some time, these people I really want to pray for, and if you don't want to, oh God, please help them, just think, God, take my energy, take my love, take my heart, and send it to those people. Actually, I had a fun experience with Qigong. It's a martial art kind of healing thing related to Tai Chi. And one of their ideas about healing is about, bringing up your chi, your energy, and sending it out to the people that you love, the people that you're targeting. Wow. And that's become a fun part of my meditation and my prayer time, is doing these Qigong exercises. We're getting the energy flowing and then sending out to people that I love, people that I care about. In the spiritual life, we talk about setting conditions like doing prayer or making sacrifices for the sake of others. We know that making conditions, having a goal, it sets our determination and intention. It really focuses our energy. If I do a fast for the sake of someone else's spiritual life, doesn't that shows even to me that I'm serious, that I really care. Oh, yeah, I don't know if I want to go that far. I don't know if I care that much. Now really, when we make conditions, I'm going to study, I make these physical offerings, we're telling ourselves that we really care, that we're determined. We're also telling and mobilizing this heavenly spiritual world and showing God that we're serious when we say we claim these people, we love these people, we care for these people. So making conditions, setting conditions for victory is the natural step if we want to see victory. So we make that claim, we're grateful for it, we hammer it into the wall, and then we set conditions and make actions that are going to move us forward. One condition that I encourage all of you to do is go and join the Tribal Messiah Network that the headquarters is setting up. It's heavenlytribe.org is the website. Go to that page and click on the button that says join. They have seminars, people sharing their stories, their challenges, what their difficulties. Create a network of people who are also trying to serve the people we love, making a difference in the lives of the people that we love. So, step number 3 is taking action. On the foundation of the strength, the energy, the power that we have from focusing on our victories, having a grateful, empowered heart, and loving and cultivating our love and compassion that we feel towards people by making conditions and making conditions to set the spiritual atmosphere, to create the environment for healing, for love. Then we take actions. The opportunities, they just show up. A chance for me to serve, to help people. It's like with our neighbors, with that fire. We had the neighbor. She was out there in the cold, a pregnant mom, 1 o'clock in the morning. They were up till like 3 in the morning. So Eleanor just didn't even think. She grabbed her coat, one of her favorite historical coats that she brought from Germany, and just gave it to her, because she was cold. Just automatically. Didn't even have to think about it. Afterwards you think, oh wait, did I really give away my favorite coat? But the heart just is automatic. Because we're praying for our neighbors, we care about our community, then we naturally take actions. Now there's lots of actions that we can take. And each one is different. But Father spoke on and on about doing home church work, tribal messiahship work, taking actions, concrete actions that basically bless and help raise up the people that we care about. So serving and loving is the mission of Tribal Messiahs. It's not, I got to go out and I got to meet a bunch of people that I don't really care about, but I got to love them somehow. Truth is, we come to love people after we get to know them. But the first mission is to go out and make some friends. and love intentionally the friends that we already have. The people in our lives that we care about. This is what it means to be a tribal Messiah. So let me close with this from Father Moon. This is from the Chun Sung Gyung, the book on home church and tribal messiahship. Father Moon encourages, says, with the new experiences and training you have had in unfamiliar lands, and most all of us have traveled and been in unfamiliar lands. Some of you are in an unfamiliar land now. And with a new mindset and attitude to work hard for the will, for God's providence, for God's will, you should bring change to your entire neighborhood. Invest yourself as God invested himself in creating from nothing the realm of his object partners of love. So bring your neighbors to unite to you. So, I encourage you, claim your neighbors, claim your friends and family, claim the people in your life for God, and begin setting conditions, making actions of love and care to protect them from Satan's attack, because they're all getting attacked. We're all getting attacked. We, even spiritually, can pray for the protection for the people that we care about. Let's do it. And then let's take action to bring them closer to the experience of God. Invite them to church. Invite them to your home. Invite them to be part of your life. So, with that, please join me in prayer. Father, Mother God, Honorable and our loving Heavenly Parent, we are so grateful for your absolute unconditional determination to claim us as your children, and the sacrifices that our true parents have made to claim us away from the fallen world and to build us into sons and daughters who can multiply your love and your healing in this world. Heavenly Parent, you've entrusted us with great power and great responsibility. And I repent, Heavenly Parent, and each of us, we look in our hearts and see where we know that you've entrusted us with this, and yet so many times we've fallen short. Heavenly Parent, please continue to guide us, that our focus can be not on the despair and resignation that comes from only looking at our failures, but from the strength and hope that we can glean from how you've been working in our lives, from the victories that we can claim. Heavenly Parent, we want to claim this world for you. We want to bring this world to know your love and to be a place of healing. Heavenly Parent, there's so many people that are suffering in this world. As we see just in the past month or so, we've seen incredible catastrophes, from hurricanes and earthquakes and even terrible violence and tragedies that's happening around the world. In the face of all that, sometimes we feel so small and so hopeless. But Heavenly Parent, you've given us the power. You've invested in us with your heart and your soul and your spirit, that we can be people that can make a difference, starting with the people in our lives. Thank you so much for the trust that you've given to each one of us. And with our heart and soul and our full spirit, we determine to be the sons and daughters that can comfort your heart and can bring healing and blessing to this world. So, together, as your sons and daughters and as blessed sons and families, we offer up ourselves again to you. And I report this in the name of the de Wattevilles. Jew. Okay, please turn to your neighbor and share about making victory.